So Michael Toma took a trip to Shanghai a few weeks back, went to China for a couple of weeks, a few cities. He's going to talk about this in this video here. Scalping also on the way to China and as he was in China. So Michael, good to have you here. And let's talk about your experience scalping in China and kind of what you've been able to achieve trading and traveling the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, great to be back. Thanks for having me, E. Yeah, it was a good trip. I mean, nothing like seeing the in-laws to make for good travels. But traveling traders and traveling junkies, you're always thinking about the markets. And when you go to foreign countries, there's always the Wi-Fi issue and hotels and things like that. But great time, great food, great people, and actually pretty good trading as well. So we'll talk about that, I'm sure.
So guide me through how do you make this happen? Because some people might be wondering, first of all, this China, which is definitely making it tougher to access the internet, access some websites and a bunch of stuff. A second thing is it's trading while you're traveling in within laws. So tell me about how this played out.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that the first rules I use when I'm traveling and trading, I'm hear your thoughts too, is you have to simplify. And you can't have all your screens with you and you have to simplify. And also, you're out and about doing things, family, friends, and all that. So I'm really restricted to my phone. And really the apps on smartphones are phenomenal. I mean, with my broker, I'm really impressed with it. So I can do a lot of the trading. I can't use a lot of moving averages and tools and indicators, and I'm not really a tool person myself anyway. So I focus more on price action and a couple indicators. And that's really my go-to. And really, I also do short-term type things. So if I'm on a train or plane or something like that, I know I can keep it short-term, knowing that the assumption is the Wi-Fi may cut out at any time. So using stops, everything like that, keep it in place. But scalping seemed to work really well on this trip, and kind of got the bug.
Cool. So guide me through what trades you've taken and kind of what you traded while you were on that trip.
Yeah, well, I was there for 14 days, and a typical China trip. I try to go once or twice a year, and had about I think 11 of the 14 days I've traded, and most of them were scalps. I'm a swing trader, but I try to incorporate a lot of scalps in there because you're out and about. And the key, I think, to the approach of scalping while on the road is to know and trust your tools that you have, but keep them simple and really just, like any scalping, strategy, just hit and go. Hit your target, get the hell out, keep them short, and keep them simple. So in this particular example, we've had, I had 14 days of trades. One day I really want to focus on was pretty interesting. I had 3 scalps, total of about 3.5 minutes in duration, right? And, really was interesting. It really made me shake my head saying, why am I sitting in front of a screen all day at home?
And you were trading from your smartphone mostly, right? So tell me how you're able to do that. Because some people might think it's impossible, it's too much to do analysis on your phone. How does that play out too?
Yeah, I actually find it, I mean, you don't want to make a living on your smartphone, but I actually find it more advantageous in the sense that there's not all the bells and whistles that I'm looking for. So I'm really just focusing on the 3 things in my phone that I'm looking for, and I set it up, is I want to be able to have OCO orders, so I have a stop and a target when I push the button. That's really important, sort of protect my risk management. And I'm really just focusing on price action with one tool. In the case of ES futures, which is my primary go-to, I'm looking at VWAP. That's my primary catalyst. If price is hanging out above it and then it breaks below it for the first time, the hair on the back of your neck should be standing up. What's happening? Where are the buyers? How come they can't support it? You go short, stop above those highs. Like, let the market beat you rather than you beat yourself.
Show us what trades you've taken during your trip.
Okay, yeah, so we'll put up a slide. I kept it really simple. And again, I was trading really without a chart. So basically looking at price action, all I have is VWAP, which is this sort of blue line that you see across my chart here. Trade 1, waited for VWAP to break, took it long, and you can see it took a short, and again, looking for 3 or 4 points off of that move, okay? Boom, boom, in and out. I think that was like 30, 25 seconds actually, see. Second trade, same thing. Waiting for failure. Breached VWAP, came right back down and came back into the area where it was comfortable. Right? Short, stop above VWAP. Same thing with trade number 3. A little tight here too, going after a few points. And quite honestly, looking back at these when I did my journaling, and I can even put those in the show notes too, my journal, is probably should have gave a little more room on some of these. Far from perfect, but when you have basically a smartphone at your disposal and just looking at price, right? You just have to make those determinations. Say, hey, there's failure here. I'm going in. But looking back at the journal, there's probably a lot of better entries I could have made. But with scalping, you just take it, hit it, run, get out. You're looking for on ES, and it was a good question that someone had in some of the comments a few weeks back, is, what exactly is your target? Well, for the ES, I'm looking for 0.1%, which would be about 5 points. We're not looking for home runs here. NASDAQ, probably about 6 or 7 points. That's it. Take it and go.
How do you manage your trades while you're on the go? What are some things you do to manage these trades and do you have to tweak them? Do you just let them run to targets, or do you tend to play with them?
Yeah, I try to play with them as little as possible. It's a real good question. But when I'm watching it, in the case like a scalping here, where you're in and out within a minute or two, you're watching them. So if price is moving in your favor, and it should be doing it right away, right? Just move that stop to break even as much as as quick as you can. And again, this is where the tools, when you have OCO orders, or you're able to, when I place an entry, the first thing I'm doing is on my app is going to my stop placement order and ready to move that down. I'm just waiting for that to happen. And then I pretty much just set it and forget it. So have that arsenal with you. I'm not looking at a bunch of other tools. I'm not looking at, the daily moving averages and all that kind of stuff. I'm just looking at price action, waiting for the break. And if price, for example, is close to my target and kind of just stops and hovers there, I could just push one button, close it out. That's what we're here to do as scalpers. Just, take it and run. Don't get fancy. Definitely, me personally, I don't trail. I'm not going to be trailing scalping trades. I don't want to make that commitment. I want to hit and run.
So tell me about your performance overall during the trip.
Yeah, well, on this particular, on the slide that we just saw, there had 3 trades, about $700, about 3 minutes and 17 seconds total. Now, that wasn't 3 minutes and 17 seconds out of my life. I wish I could say that. You're waiting for price to do certain things and confirm stuff like that. But not bad for NES futures. 1 contract average. Sometimes I'll go 2. And as you can see, we'll pull up another slide. It was there for 11 days. I have sort of a brief journal of the results of those. Overall, pretty good. Did have a few setbacks. A setback in Shanghai, not a big deal, right? You just trade them. The key about scalping is you could do everything right, and just sometimes it doesn't work out. Risk management is so important in scalping because many times you're going to do everything right, but you're going to have a bad outcome. Don't get frustrated. Don't start raising size. You don't have to be profitable every day. Just let the numbers eventually play out. The cool thing about scalping is you're going to have a lot of occurrences, a lot of trades. So you can base your results on a series of, say, 50 or 70 or 100 or even 25. Don't worry about being profitable on every trade. That's kind of like the key with scalping.
Tell me more about this. So some people might say you got to be there to take the trades when they show up, and if you're traveling or doing something else, you won't be there for all the trades that are happening in the market. So are you okay with missing most of them, or do you try to cash as much as you can?
No, you have to be. I mean, you set a certain time where you have a little me time. I always make like a coffee run or something like that. But there was an example where I was at a restaurant with other people, and a little trick is you have your napkin over your phone. Now think about this: if the markets are positive, right? The markets are up, say pre-market, and they go negative. What's the one thing that you need to be looking at while you're in the trade? Like, there's nothing else you should care about except for one thing. If that little number turns green. Because if it's red, even if you don't know what it is, you're good. Your stop is, above where price turned green. So, you can have the little napkin on the corner, covering 80% of your phone. I mean, we're junkies. We do everything. We'll do everything to get a trade in. But that's all you need. And then when you hit your target, if you have your phone notification, you hear a little like vibrate, like bzz, bzz, okay, move on. Past the potatoes. You don't care. You don't have to go checking and journaling and stuff like that. There's a lot of little quirky things that you can do to make it happen. But at the same time is know your schedule. take advantage of the time frame that you have. The cool thing about scalping is most times during the day, there's a potential opportunity. So you don't have to just lock yourself where, oh, I can't trade overnight. In fact, Etienne, in the Asia session, I mean, there's a lot of really cool opportunities in there. I've actually become an Asia fan, Asia trading session fan. Who knows, maybe I'll move to Shanghai and just, trade those hours.
I wouldn't do that for that reason, but whatever. If you want to do it, that's good for you. That's cool. But yeah, I mean, it's a good point on risk management too, because you would think you have to be there for the trades. You would think if you just show up like an hour a day whenever you can to look at the trades, you would miss out on a lot of the good moves. At the same time, you gotta kind of go with what you get, and that's a good lesson in like taking the time you need for trading and then stepping away from for the other stuff after that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're traveling and trading, I mean, whether it's for vacation, fun, family, in this case, there's a lot of family things that, in-law issues I had to deal with. I mean, that's priority number one. So you use scalping, and this is the one benefit. I mean, if you just scalping 24 hours a day, you'll burn yourself out. At least I will. Find the pockets of opportunity and say, you know what, let me see what's going on. And don't break down your barriers. I mean, if there's not a valid setup in your plan, don't take it. But chances are, if you look at enough markets, you'll find something. And keep it simple, let it go. But yeah, scalping, you don't really have to monitor and manage. Maybe just moving your stop to break even. But quite honestly, if there's a really quick scalp, you may be out before you have the chance to do it. So, and out meaning target or even stop. So find those little pockets, but don't let it consume you. It will overtake you. And if not, if it even doesn't consume you, overconsume you, you'll probably tick off a lot of friends in the process. So.
What advice do you give to guys who wants to scalp when they're traveling and wants to at least be able to make a living trading with scalping? What we tell them to focus on?
Yeah, I think scalping, at least for me, and what I would suggest is sort of like the bonus that you get from regular trading. So I wouldn't suggest making it like your overall go-to. This is how I make a living thing. It's the icing sort of on the cake. That's just for me. If you think you do too much, I just get tired, and quite honestly, I get a little bored of it. Actually, to be honest. But the one thing, if you're considering doing it, is number one, get to know your platform, particularly your app on your phone, and see if your platform, your broker, has the tools that you need to be able to do this. Doesn't necessarily have to be on your phone. I mean, there were a few trades I made on my laptop back at the condo. So, but you get to know it, know OCO orders, know how to execute them, know how to move stops to break even without sort of fumbling through them, because these entries and these trades can move quite a fast, and you want to be able to be quick at your hand, literally at the push of a button to do it. So first advice, get to know your execution capabilities in your phone. Super, super, super important.
All right, so that trip is over. Now, what's your next trip? I want to hear about what is planned next for trading and traveling, and where you're going to take this next.
Well, I've been on the road. Now, Etienne, we have a traveling trader rate, right? So far this year, and those are the number of days that we're away from home, the traveling trader rate, the TT rate, as we call it. You obviously blow out the competition, but mine's about 26% so far this year. Kind of high. I mean, it's so I want to take a little time off, take some time where I don't want to travel for the next month. But come summertime, I'm usually Caribbean, Florida, things like that. So we'll see. Nothing major in the works, but that will change very quickly.
And in the next month, that goes by so fast. So yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to see where you go next. Definitely. That's cool stuff. All right, thanks, Michael, for being here and sharing your past trades on your trip. I appreciate that. People will get some value out of it. So for sure, any questions they have, they can comment below. If they want to see more about what you do and more about your trainings, you can also check out the link below for that. And we'll hopefully catch you back here pretty soon on the channel. Appreciate it.